Hi, this week we're going to learn about how we can use artifacts in qualitative research. And artifacts can be a lot of different things, so just about anything besides interviewing, and so we'll learn about that. Three ways to collect data. We've already talked about observations and we've talked about interviews, and so the last thing is artifacts. And there are a lot of different definitions of what artifacts are. So I'll let you read some of these. Ready-made source of data, easily accessible. Sources of rich description of how people who produce materials think about their world. And then you need to think about how artifacts can help your other data. And that's something that really is helpful. You need to understand how the newest technology may affect the data gathering process, and you need to understand the ethical implications of it. So here's some definitions of artifacts. Material culture is probably the one that I agree with the most. Although it is silent, you have to interpret it. Here's one according to Hodder: mute evidence, records, and documents. And a lot of things that are coming about nowadays are images, especially digital images, and things that are done on the internet. So there's virtual data that you can collect now. Here's Merriam and Tisdale's definition: public records, personal documents, and physical material. I like their definition too. They're typically a natural part of the research setting and do not intrude upon or alter the setting in ways that the presence of the investigator might. Think about that. Here's Rossman and Rallis. So all of them talk about artifacts being physical items. All of them talk about documents, and archival data can be very important too if you like to look up especially history of something that happened. So they could be researcher generated, things that you look at like your journals, consent forms, emails, things like that. And they may be serendipitous. They may be things that you're just looking around and looking at the context and you notice. So that would be really nice to make conversation about, and so you could do that with your participants. So here's some things to think about. What people say is not always what they do, but the things around them may show you the truth. What's the meaning of the object when it's separated from the producer? And you've got an exercise this week to talk about that. I'm going to have you post 5 objects, and then I would like people to think about what they mean and for you to not tell them, and then you can tell them later on what it was really about. And then think about the meaning over time and what the setting is. Here's some impact of technology. So scanners can produce an amazing amount of documents for you, and yet they're not the real physical thing. Is there a difference or not? The internet can give you all kinds of information. Pictures can give you all kinds of information, and so can movies. Virtual and visual technology is a pretty big deal. I taught a class on that, and was a lot of fun, but there's a lot more to it than you may think. So here's some things to consider. Technology is relatively new. And we may be able to access people in ways that we've never accessed them before. But suppose there's a camera in a mall and you want to look at the people who walk through the mall. Who actually owns that? Where do you get permission to do that? Suppose you just want to look on the internet. Who owns the blogs and things that you might look at? How private are they and how public are they? So using artifacts, we've used artifacts for more than 50 years, but in qualitative research, we really haven't studied them. And now we are studying them and seeing how important they are. So I'd like you to think about how maybe an artifact can be used in your interviews as part of your data collection that might enhance your interviews. So I hope you have fun with the exercises I have for you this time, and we'll discuss some more. All right, have a good week. Bye.